know him personally. I have nothing against him personally, but his performance tonight was a disgrace.
Parker should be winning most of the rounds until...
Parker's not going to scream and shout. In fact, I saw an interview of him with Kugan Cassis where he's so humble and it's like, it is what it is. What can happen? You can't change anything. Well, you can't, but you can get a rematch.
No, I wasn't, and I don't want to say that to like take away from Joe because it's not that he's a soft puncher at all. I just wasn't hurt. I got caught being lazy. I got caught a bit wrong-footed. I overcommitted with some shots and just got caught falling around a bit. But I wasn't hurt. I wasn't buzzed. You saw the way I came into it in the second round. It didn't change anything for me. It wasn't any different. Look, sometimes in spaces my work can be a bit sloppy and I get a bit annoyed with myself and let that get to me. But
it's heavyweight boxing. You can't go swimming and not get wet, and it's cliche. He got wet, and the referee jumped in, a few unanswered shots, and that's what it takes. It's one of those things. It's heavyweight boxing. You can get caught.
And I was staying to the plan. I was staying focused all the way through, and looking in that one, in that round, in that moment, that voice won over. It said, okay, fine, let's do this then. 20,000 people didn't come out to see me give it up so easily. Let's throw down. Let's give the people.
Worst fight ever. The pros saw it first, and Andy Lee said what everyone else was thinking. It wasn't just a loss. It was a robbery in plain sight. Parker fought smart, controlled the rhythm, and yet the result made absolutely no sense to anyone watching.
Yeah, I'm watching this and I just thought it was disgraceful tonight. I just thought that... Anyway, they robbed him of a victory, but people saw what happened.
Derek Chisora spoke with honesty and respect. You could feel the disappointment in his tone. He's been there himself.
However,
he knows what it feels like to go out on a night like that. Chisora understood Parker's struggle better than most, and his empathy said it all.
In the ring.
Hey, listen, you got caught the head on the temple, and then after that, it was a long night for him. I'm a bit sad because I didn't want him to go out like that.
Is that because of the fights you've had with him?
No, it's because that he's never boxed a southpaw. That's the first southpaw he's boxed in how long? It's maybe his whole career.
Ajit Kabayal's reaction summed up the confusion perfectly. He saw Parker ahead on points, controlling most of the rounds. But that sudden swing in momentum left everyone stunned. In heavyweight boxing, one punch changes everything, and that's exactly what happened here.
Juicy. What a crazy fight, I see Parker was 7 rounds, maybe. I think Parker win, But, this is a heavyweight boxing, one punch can change a fight, and you see the result, I don't know why Parker, after 7 rounds, to go back. I think he have too much muscle, too much weight, a little bit, I think not so much condition.
Andy Lee didn't hold back. His frustration was clear, his tone full of disbelief. He expected more from Parker, both mentally and physically. The loss wasn't just painful, it was embarrassing. And for a man of Parker's experience, that made it even harder to accept.
Yeah, Paddy's slightly worse, maybe. It's not his style, not his thing to do, but Parker had the head in as well.
Duke McKenzie spoke with the authority of old school grit. He believed Parker overcomplicated things when he should have fought on instinct. In the heavyweight world, tactics mean nothing if the heart doesn't follow through, and McKenzie's words reminded everyone of that truth.
Particular fight. I think that Josie Parker threw it away. They talk about tactics and game plans and one thing and another these days. Excuse me. When I was boxing, obviously things were different, and you went round by round.
Derek Chisora hit the nail on the head. From the opening exchange, it looked like Parker never truly settled. Those first few heavy shots shook him and set the tone for everything that followed. Once a fighter loses rhythm in the early rounds, it's almost impossible to regain momentum. Chisora's analysis captured the harsh truth: Parker got caught cold, and from that moment, the tide turned. What should have been a composed start became the beginning of his downfall.
Yeah, he walked in there, was game on. By the time he got hit by 3 shots, that was it. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think the fight was...
Carl Froch's breakdown was brutally honest. Parker's defense was passive, almost hesitant, like a man unsure of what to do next. Instead of fighting back or taking a breather, he just absorbed punishment. That kind of indecision is fatal at this level. Froch saw what everyone else did.
He feels he's
But
bigger,
once confident
stronger,
boxer
better,
suddenly
badder
frozen under
than
fire,
he's ever been.
it wasn't
And
just the
it's hard
punches
to
that
argue
beat
with
Parker.
that.
It was the lack of response. The failure to adapt under pressure when everything was on the line.
I mean, who knows? Parker wasn't throwing much back. He should have either grabbed on, took a knee, or at least threw a bit more back. He was sitting back with his guard up, taking punches. It looked messy. It looked like he was under attack, and he was.
Duke McKenzie's words carried both respect and disappointment. He recognized Parker's talent, but made it clear the strategy fell apart from the start. Against someone like Wardley, who thrives on chaos and knockouts, you cannot afford tactical mistakes. Parker misread the rhythm, tried to box tidy instead of roughing it out. McKenzie's tone said it all. This wasn't just a loss, it was a lesson in how overthinking can undo even the most seasoned pros in the unforgiving world of heavyweight boxing.
Parker, for me, the only thing that disappointed me about Parker was he threw it away. Because tactically, got his tactics all wrong. I know in heavyweight boxing, all heavyweights hit hard, but Fabio Wardley's on a great run of knockouts, right? Just knocking everyone out. Anybody put in front of me blows.
Tyson Fury's reaction came from a place of brotherhood. You could sense his worry for Parker, not as a fighter, but as a mate. Fury understands the brutality of this game better than most. One clean punch can erase months of preparation, and he's seen it happen countless times. His voice carried a mix of sadness and realism in heavyweight boxing. Respect doesn't protect you from pain. Fury's acceptance of the result wasn't cold. It was just the mindset of a man who's lived through the same war many times before.
Listen, it's heavyweight boxing. You get caught some big shots, and there was a good few punches. I wasn't counting, but it looked like a lot. Obviously, I'm concerned for Joe because he's a friend and close friend, and you don't want to see anybody get hurt. But it was.
Dave Allen spoke like a man genuinely stunned by what he'd witnessed. The fight exceeded expectations, but in all the wrong ways for Parker fans. Allen thought Parker would cruise to victory, yet the tables turned dramatically. His surprise mirrored the reaction across the boxing world. For a fighter as skilled and composed as Parker, losing this way felt surreal. Allen's honesty captured the shock perfectly. This was meant to be Parker's statement night, but instead it became one of the most baffling heavyweight upsets in recent memory.
An unbelievable fight, really. Ended up being a great fight. It wasn't one I was overly excited for, really. Amazing, really. Amazing. So I thought Parker would win. I didn't really have any doubts Parker would win.
Dean White summed up the momentum perfectly. The fight truly felt like a back-and-forth battle until Parker emptied the tank one round too soon. Wardley's power became the difference. His timing and composure carried the edge when fatigue began to show. White's comparison to Deontay Wilder wasn't exaggerated. Wardley has that same unpredictable explosiveness that can flip a fight instantly. Parker's mistake was losing control of his energy, pouring everything into offense without recovering. Dean saw what many didn't in real time, that Parker's downfall wasn't a single punch, but a steady build of exhaustion that left him open for the inevitable finish.
I mean, both guys had their moments in there. It was ebb and flow, and you know what it is, I was like, Fabio hit him with some good shots. Fabio needs to do a bit more. But Fabio's always, he's like the Deontay Wilder of the UK, man. He always had that equal there down the stretch. I mean, I think Parker blew his tank in that round before, where he literally let it out, and then kind of that was his, it was what the goose.
John Fury captured the essence of a true warrior's spirit. Wardley's heart and self-belief were the cornerstones of his comeback. Even when Parker seemed to be taking control, Wardley refused to back down. The way Fury described it, this wasn't just a test of skill, but a test of character. Wardley showed that mental toughness can carry a fighter through hell when the body starts to fade. Parker had his moments, he landed clean combinations and pressed forward. But Wardley's resolve was stronger. It was that inner fire, that refusal to surrender, which turned a dangerous situation into a defining victory that proved his grit as a legitimate contender.
Had a hard fight. Joe got on top of him at times, doubling the left hook up, hitting him with the right hand, had him all over, he was reeling all over Fabio Wardley, but he bit down his gum shield. He thought, right, fuck you, I've got the power to straighten this right out, and that's what he did.
Johnny Nelson's take was psychological more than tactical. He understood that Parker's loss hurt deeper than just physically. It was pride that took the hardest hit. Nelson highlighted how words and pressure can weigh on a fighter's mind before the first bell even rings. When Parker failed to deliver after his confident pre-fight talk, the emotional toll doubled. Pride can fuel performance, but it can also become the heaviest burden in defeat. Nelson's observation cut through the surface of the fight and looked into the fighter's mindset. It wasn't just about punches landed or missed, it was about the disappointment of not living up to one's own expectations in front of the world.
I don't want a big on my face. I've got to get a job done here. So after the things he said the last time, he knows he probably mugged himself off. I think that probably hurt him more than anything, hit his pride.
David Higgins' reaction carried the emotion of someone personally invested in the fighter's journey. His words revealed how close Parker was to victory before the tables turned. Winning most rounds means little in heavyweight boxing, and one shot can change everything. Higgins' pain was evident because it is never easy to see a friend crumble in a sport so unforgiving. His comment about Wardley's equalizer emphasized just how unpredictable the heavyweight division truly is. A fighter can dominate for 30 minutes and still lose it all in a few seconds. Higgins' tone reflected both heartbreak and respect for the sport's cruel beauty, where power and precision rule over plans.
He was winning most of the rounds. But, you know, Wardley's got that big equaliser and rattled him, and Joseph's my friend. It's hard to watch your friend getting punched or hurt.
Ajit Kabayel's breakdown spoke from experience. He saw what many observers noticed too, that Parker looked strong early, but faded once fatigue kicked in. The comment about excess muscle was insightful because it explained the sudden drop in movement and timing. Carrying too much bulk in heavyweight boxing often costs endurance, and Kabayel identified that as a key reason for the loss. His description of the fight being crazy captured the chaotic nature of the bout, where momentum flipped without warning. Parker's early dominance couldn't save him from Wardley's persistence and power. In the end, Kabayel's view summed up the entire contest, a mix of brilliance, fatigue, and the brutal unpredictability that defines heavyweight boxing.
You see, what a crazy fight, you know. I see Parker was 7 rounds, maybe. I think Parker win, you know. But you know, this is a heavyweight boxing. You know, one punch can change the fight. You know, and you see the result. You know, I don't know why Parker after 7 rounds to go back. I think he have too much muscle, you know, too much weight, a little bit. I think not so much condition.
The night ended with more questions than answers, but one thing became crystal clear: heavyweight boxing remains the most unpredictable stage in sports. Joseph Parker walked in as the favorite, confident and composed, yet walked out stunned by a man who refused to quit. Fabio Wardley proved that heart, timing, and raw determination can overcome even the most calculated game plan. From the opening bell to the final exchange, this fight had everything: drama, momentum shifts, and that unforgettable moment where one punch flipped the script. The reactions from legends like Derek Chisora, Tyson Fury, and Johnny Nelson painted a full picture of disbelief mixed with admiration for both warriors. Parker may have lost, but he reminded the world that courage doesn't fade with defeat, and Wardley stamped his name among the division's most dangerous men. This was more than a fight. It was a statement that in boxing, no one is ever truly safe until the final bell rings. If you enjoyed breaking down this war of willpower and want more real boxing insight, make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, and let us know who you think should step into the ring next.